welcome to my channel, The Baking Mad Gym Addict. Today I'm going to show you a mini vegetarian meal prep session. I like eating meat, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood to cook it. So today I made cheesy vegetarian quiches inside a casing made of rice. I know that sounds a bit weird, but it works and it tastes really good, and because I use black rice, it's actually low in the glycemic index and it's gluten free. I also made some stewed cinnamon apples which taste amazing in my overnight oats recipe. So without much further ado, let's get started with the tutorial.
Woohoo! Here we go! It's so good to connect with you all again and show you another one of my recipes. This is what the finished result looks like. It's basically a delicious cheesy quiche with yummy roasted vegetables, and it's housed inside a pie casing which I've basically made from rice. This excellent meat-free recipe is absolutely everything it's cracked up to be. To make it, you will need 3 cups of cooked rice. You can use whatever type of rice you like. Today I'm going to be using black rice, which is sometimes known as purple rice. Black rice and brown rice retains the bran cover that is usually removed to make white rice. This means that the grain of black rice and brown rice is packed with more nutritional benefits than white rice. But, like I said, you do not need black rice for this recipe, so please use whatever rice you have in your kitchen. You'll also need 1 happy egg to make the rice crust, and another thing you'll need is 1 tablespoon of your favourite seasoning. I'm using Mrs. Dash table seasoning, which is salt-free and has no calories. I get this delivered to me in Sydney through a website called iHerb. If you want stuff delivered to you from iHerb, check out the discount code in the description box for money off your first order. Crack your happy egg into the bowl. You can see here that I'm just mixing the egg, rice and seasoning really well together like so. Next I grabbed my big muffin tin. I actually ran out of non-stick baking paper, so I improvised and used some tin foil sprayed with coconut oil in the hope that my quiches would not stick to the muffin tin. If you have non-stick baking paper or parchment paper, use that instead of tin foil because it'll be less fiddly at the end to pull out your quiches. If you don't have a muffin tin, you could use a cake tin instead to make 1 big humongous quiche instead of 6 wee ones. These are some photos of a chicken and spinach quiche which I made with a brown rice crust, which I posted on Facebook a while ago. Once your muffin is lined, just press the rice mixture firmly into the bottom of the tray and all the way up the size of each muffin cup. The trick here is not to make your rice casing too thick. You want to aim for the perfect ratio of rice crust and quiche filling, so don't pack in too much rice or else you'll feel like you're eating a big rice ball at the end. So here I am just filling the rest of the muffin cups with rice. Once your rice cases are ready, pop your tray into the oven for about 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. While that's in the oven, I get to work chopping up the veggies and preparing them for roasting. I've got 2 big beautiful juicy red sweet peppers. Sometimes chopping up peppers can be a pain in the neck because of all the seeds, the stalk and the pith, but this is how I do it. I chop the ends off the pepper and make an incision on one side to get access to remove the core, and then I just run my knife along the whole length of the pepper to get rid of any excess white bits. Then it's just a matter of slicing and dicing your peppers into small squares. I love eating red peppers raw, so delish. For my other veggies, I was a bit lazy and bought mushrooms that were already sliced, raw carrots that were already shredded, and raw pumpkin which was already cleaned and diced. It's obviously cheaper to chop and wash everything yourself, but meh, sometimes time is money. I did dice up my own onions, so that was good. I laid out my mushrooms, carrots, pumpkin, onion and peppers into an oven tray, and before putting them in the oven to roast, I gave them a good glug of olive oil and a cheeky sprinkle of some more Mrs. Dash seasoning for good luck. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is way too much vegetables for those 6 wee mini rice quiches, but you know me, I always like to food prep extra so that I have additional healthy alternatives for meals and snacks for the next day or so. By now, your rice should be ready, so I just take it out of the oven and wait until my veggies are roasted. Once your veggies are roasted, grab a bowl and add in 4 eggs, a 1/4 cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of light tasty cheese. This cheese is one I picked up from my local supermarket called Woolies, and apparently it's 30% less fat than the standard cheese. Add in as much roasted veggies that you can fit in and fill your cases with your eggy, cheesy veggie mixture. I find it's easier to add in your veggies into the cups and then pour in the eggy liquid afterwards. To up the prettiness factor, I added in some sprigs of coriander leaves, which is called cilantro if you're from America. Once your quiches are all prepped, pop your tray into the oven for about 20 minutes. Ta-da! This is what it looks like once it's done. At first I thought I could simply just pull them out, but this didn't really work. I thought, darn it, I should have really used non-stick baking paper instead of tin foil. At this point I started to panic and think, how the heck am I going to get these bad boys out the muffin tin? But then I thought, eureka, I'll just use a blunt knife to gently pry the edges of the quiche away from the tin. And it worked like a charm. So I just did the same for the other wee quiches and kept wiggling the knife around the edge of the quiches until they were free. Once they were free, I just unwrapped each one out of the tin foil, and this is what the mini quiches look like. They look like cute, little, happy, colourful quiches, and I swear it's probably the most novel way I've ever served veggies and rice. These were really delicious to eat and last about 2 to 3 days in the fridge if you wrap it up well in cling wrap. They are nice eaten warm, but you can also eat them cold too. And to prove that I do actually eat every single thing that I make on my channel, here is a shot of me tucking into one of these little mini vegetarian quiches. It was actually quite nerve-wracking eating on camera because instead of trying to scarf down food, which I normally do, I was trying to eat delicately. Okay, let's move on to the stewed apples. I've put the full recipe for my stewed apples in the description box below. Essentially, you just need some apples, you need to peel them. Just for fun, I like to try and peel them in one go so that I have one long strip of apple skin at the end of it. Yeah, maybe I need to get out more. As well as apples, you'll also need some chopped up medjool dates and some cinnamon and a tiny squeeze of lemon juice. Heat your pan and add in your diced apples, dates and cinnamon and stir them around. Add some water and a tiny squeeze of lemon juice and continue cooking your apples for about 15 minutes until they're soft and no longer crunchy. And that's it! The stewed apples can be stored in the fridge in a mason jar for about a week. The stewed apples are delicious stirred into your oatmeal. Or you can make an apple protein smoothie like I'm doing here. I'm just adding some of the stewed apples into a blender with some coconut water, some frozen banana and some Isoway vanilla protein powder. Then it's just a matter of whizzing everything up in your blender until it's nice and smooth, pouring it into a mason jar and then drinking it. So delicious! This week I also made some overnight oats by pouring oatmeal into a jar, adding some soy milk and a few tablespoons of yummy apple mixture. Once those 3 ingredients are added, just shake up the ingredients really well in a big jar and leave it in the fridge overnight. You can pimp up your overnight oats and make it more exciting if you like by adding some chia seeds, protein powder, nuts and seeds. This is what it looks like the next morning. If you want to make your overnight oats even thicker, you could even add in a dollop of Greek yogurt. And there you have about 3 days worth of breakfast in a jar ready to go. And that, my friends, concludes this week's video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to keep in touch with me, and stalk me on Facebook and Instagram if you'd like to see more wonderful recipes. Click on the like button if you want to make my day extra happy, and have an awesome week ahead. Catch up soon. Bye!